this is the goal. People to see time is precious. I look at my Cartier.
Hey guys, long time no read, or I have been reading, but not very much. I saw a question. I'm a little bit late on the uptake of this, but it is book series and delayed gratification. Now this is a very funny one for me because I'm starting to change a lot of my reading habits. Basically, I'm a mood reader. I read whatever the mood I'm in, and that counts as series as well. Series, you guys probably have heard this a million times, but I'm a series whore. I pick up a book in a series, I read that one, then I go to another series, or start another one, or just read 10,000 books in between that series. And while that has worked for me in the past, and while it probably will still work for me, at the moment I'm getting closer to finishing a series, the Blue Blood series, and I thought instead of just jumping between 4 or 5 more books, why don't I just sit there and spend the next next month or so finishing the books. And you know what? Then I'll have finished the series, and once the next book comes out, I can pick that up and read it. And I'm having a lot of difficulty, I guess, in what Deb said in her video as well. You kind of sort of forget about what happens in the books and stuff if you don't read them. Whereas if you're enjoying a book or a series, I do believe actually it is better to just keep reading and reading them because, I guess after wanting to be in that world, you don't want to just stop just to pick up another book and enter a different, totally different world, do you? So that also, I guess, depends on whether you've enjoyed the book, because there have been a few books in, say, I'm going to use Blue Bloods as an example. Last 2 books were just very, very transitional books, and I just found myself not wanting to read the series for a bit, just wanted to give it a bit of time in between. But because of that, before I read those 2 books, and in between that period of time, seeing as it had been a few months, maybe 5 or 6, I kind of forgot what world it was, and I had to pick up the memory and stuff. So I thought, no, while I'm not reading as much as I usually do or used to do, I'm just going to give this series a really big shot, and I want to finish it. And I'm going to tell you guys that I don't think I've actually finished a series. I'm one of those people who just skips about and frolics and has so many books, or I want so many books, that I just sort of read lots of books in between. And I'm kind of thinking, well, how am I going to make a big impact on my shelf, by the end of this year? One of my goals was to read a lot of my series books and finish a lot of them, and it's almost halfway through the year and I haven't even done that. So I would love to clear off a lot of this space on my shelf by not just to clear it off and say, well, I've read it. I want to actually read these books, but it'd be nice to say, well, I finished a couple of these series, so I can make room for more series. Also, the question also was delayed gratification. I think that was my main concern. Subconsciously, I always think, oh, well, I can't, like the Hush Hush series. It's only being brought out in, sort of books, over a period of time, like a couple of months or a year. And so I thought I'd delay that. But with books like that, I truly just love to pick them up and read them when they come out, because there's such a far time in between. But for instance, Christine Feehan's writing, well, she brings out a book, I think about twice a year or something like that. There's a few authors who bring out a couple of books, and they're out within pretty much months of each other. So that's a different thing altogether. But I think the stress, it's more of a stress thing as well. Once you start having a book community and stuff like that and contributing, for me, I felt like I have changed my reading habits a lot. Sometimes I do it to suit what's going around, what's hot and what's not, and I haven't really made much of an impact on my shelf because I've been buying a lot of books and not reading them. So, yeah, that's a big thing as well, really. So, I think I like having all the books on my shelf, because I know that, you know, if I do feel like reading the whole series, that they're there. But I haven't really given myself a chance to do that at all, really. So, I mean, I've got series here. I've got the Vampire Academy and the Evernight series, I think that's called. And, you know, just so many series that I need to read and start and catch up on, that when I book hop, it makes that very hard, because, like I said, there's time between books. Sometimes there's 20 books between the first or the second book in the series and the third. So I do love my delaying of gratification, but I think I'm going to start changing that a bit. So I think when you're on a book community too, it's so much of a time thing. For me, I want to get it out there for you guys. I want you to experience what I'm experiencing. But when life gets in the way, there's so much time in between, and, you know, I read series, and it might take me like 2 months to read a series if I'm going to read it up one after the other, and it might be a long time between then before I get to share a video. So I guess this is a kind of update video as well, telling you that I'm going to start more so just starting a few series and trying to finish a few series as well. It's just, you know, and by the end of it I'll tell you what I think, or maybe I might just tell you what each book I think about, stuff like that. So please stick with me. I know lots of people might have wandered off already because I haven't been making hardly any videos or anything like that, but please stick with me. I swear getting back into the community, I just had a little bit of a break. Much needed break. This is my pile I want to read after I finish Blue Bloods. I want to read that series and some others, finish the other series. So yeah, and I've got the Ugly series to finish and too many series. But anyway, that's my little response. So thank you guys. I am missing you guys terribly. I cannot wait to actually start sharing some of the books that I've read. Like the past few weeks I've really just been reading Blue Blood series, so not a lot of you guys are probably interested in that unless you've already started the series. So yeah, I'll try and I'm going to try and read at least like a book, not a solo book, but a different book in between the series that I try and finish, so it's mixing it up a bit. So maybe I hope to get about 2 books, hopefully, out each month that are actually not part of a series. But I'm not stressing myself out, not setting any deadlines or anything like that. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Bye.